It is said that the ultimate tyranny in a society is not controlled by martial law. It is controlled by the psychological manipulation of consciousness through which reality is defined, so that those who exist within it do not even realize that they are in prison. They do not even realize that there is something outside of what they have been taught exists. To put it in layman's terms, if one can control your perception or the idea of who or what deity is, then that person can control your soul. I want to read to you an ancient African prophecy by the god-man known as Tahuti or Hermes Trismegistus. This is a prophecy given in a group of books known as the Hermetica. Now, this was a conversation between Hermes or Thoth, the god-man, and one of his disciples, Asclepius. This prophecy is also a lament as it speaks to what is happening today. When we look around, when we see the lack of spiritual attention that each and every single person seems to be functioning under, then we can look back at these holy texts and these ancient prophecies that were given by wise men and women of that time, speaking to the children of the future which is now. So the prophecy is as follows. Do you know, Asclepius, that Egypt is an image of heaven? Or to speak more exactly, in Egypt, all the operations of the powers which rule and work in heaven have been transferred to the earth below. Nay, it should rather be said that the whole cosmos dwells in this here our land as in a sanctuary. And yet, since it is fitting that wise men should have knowledge of all events before they come to pass, you must not be left in ignorance of this. There will come a time when it will have been in vain that the Egyptians honored the Godhead with heartfelt piety and service, and all our holy worship will be found ineffectual. The gods will return from earth to heaven, Egypt will be forsaken, and the land which was once the home of religion will be left desolate, bereft of the presence of its deities. Egypt, O Egypt, of thy religion nothing will remain but an empty tale, which thine own children in time to come will not believe. Nothing will be left but graven words, and only the stones will tell of thy piety. Darkness will be preferred to light, and death will be thought more profitable than life. No one will raise his eyes to heaven. The pious will be deemed insane, and the impious wise. The madman will be thought a brave man, and the wicked will be esteemed as good. And as to the soul, and the belief that it is immortal by nature, or may hope to attain to immortality, as I have taught you, all this they will mock at, and will even persuade themselves that it is false. No word of reverence or piety, no utterance worthy of heaven and of the gods of heaven will be heard or believed. And so the gods will depart from mankind, a grievous thing. And only evil angels will remain, who will mingle with men and drive the poor wretches into all manner of reckless crimes, into wars and robberies and frauds, and all things hostile to the nature of the soul. Then will the earth tremble, and the sea bear no ships. Heaven will not support the stars in their orbit. All voices of the gods will be forced into silence. The fruits of the earth will rot. The soil will turn barren, and the very air will sicken with stagnation. All things will be disordered. All good will disappear. But when all of this has fallen Asclepius, then the Master and the Father, God, the first before all, the maker of that God who first came into being, will look at all that which has come to pass, and will stop the disorder by the counterworking of his will, which is the good. He will call back to the right path those who have gone astray. He will cleanse the world from evil. He will bring back his world to its former aspect, so that the cosmos once more may be deemed worthy of worship and wondering reverence, and God, The maker and restorer of the mighty fabric will be adored by men of that day with unceasing hymns and praise and blessing. Such is the new birth of the cosmos. It is a making again of all things good, a holy and awe-striking restoration of all nature, and it is fashioned in the process of time by the eternal will of God. For God's will has no beginning. It is ever the same, and as it now is, even so it has ever been, without beginning, for it is the very being of God to purpose the good.
Oh